Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever, wherever you are on this planet. This is Avenue X. I think I'm live. How is everyone doing? November. It's already November of 2021. In no time, it's gonna be the end of this century and we're all gonna be mummies. Just kidding. Maybe by the end of this century, everyone can live to 200 years old. Adolescence will last for half a century. Okay. Hi. 好久不见, Alan. Oh, I see somebody who shows up every time. Like, how do you manage to do that, basically? It's very... 好久不见. From London, from everywhere, Indonesia, Asia, Europe, Netherlands, lovely. Oh yes, it's Diwali. Malaysia, people in India are celebrating it, right? Big festival, the biggest festival of the year. Festivals, who? Any future rant videos? I mean, there are too many dramas that's worth ranting about, but sometimes I was like, I look at other people's rant video, I'm like, that drama, I don't even want to click it open and watch it. It's gonna just make my blood pressure go crazy. I was like, oh. Even the rantings are getting uninteresting because every drama pretty much are in the same way boring and pathetic. Philippines, Trinidad, oh cool. Zimbabwe, wow, so many different places. Cool. Have I finished Dear Diary? Yes, for sure. The day it went out. I just don't have time to, because last week I tried to film myself doing the 仙侠 that you've seen on Tuesday video and then a review on the end of 2 dramas, but I can't. The 仙侠 video took too much time. It took me a whole day to plan and film it, then the next day fully to edit the rough cut and then put the piano in, because in case people didn't notice, there's the theme music of the dramas I've mentioned that I played in the background, and to play that, record that, and then put it in the editing took half a day. The rest of the day just editing the whole thing, because I had 2 hours of footage. I had to edit it down to 30 minutes. The next day it took me 2 hours and a half to do the subtitles. So I was like, I can only do 1 video this week. It's too much. So there's a quantitative limit of how much video I can do over 1 week on myself, which is probably adding together 30 minutes. So usually it's 2 review video, 115 minutes. But because of the 仙侠 one literally was big and unusual, I had no time to do another one. Which is why I'm doing live today. I'm just being lazy. Because I can't put another video out on Thursday. I don't have the time to do it. But then I don't want it to just stay open for nothing. So here I am. Last month, October, I did the live on 14th. So this is like less than a month's time. This is only 20 days later, but hey. What can I say? It just happens that way, so. Rebirth for you? No, I'm not gonna keep watching that drama. I don't want to. 下山了吗? Yeah, I'm pretty definitely off the mountain and hill. Like the kind of chemistry that works on you cannot last forever, but I mean it's still to me like one of the biggest, let's say, highlight of 2021 in dramaland as a reviewer, also as a drama watcher and editor. That's never gonna change. But like you can't just keep keeping these things on the like in your head all the time. You have to look at your own life. Okay, let me just look at a couple of things because people are typing so fast I can't catch you guys. 古剑奇谭, I've watched a little bit of it. I don't think I've watched the full thing when it was out. And now it's definitely too old to watch. Back then the qualities are not as good. But I remember 郑爽, 李易峰, 陈伟霆, Yang Mi. I know what they're like in the drama. How fast things change, right? Only a couple of years later, 郑爽 is literally no longer online. She can't be anymore. And then, oh, 胡珠夫人 is coming out soon. Holy. Yeah. Yang Mi and Chen Weiting playing a couple in 胡珠夫人 Pearl Eclipse. It will air soon, and the trailer looks. I just say the stylist probably hated Chen Weiting. The wig is so bad. Holy moly, why? Why? Trailer of Senti. Yes, I have. Actors are pretty solid. CG, we need to see the finished product because it's only a trailer. It's probably still a work in progress, so it's not the final thing. And for 3-body, I think there are 2 ways of going about 3-body. One is really play it down, like the CGI part, super down to the point that it's not that important. It's the concept and the scope of the story that is fascinating. Because it's impossible for you to really show what folding dimension means, right? Like, how does that work? You just wouldn't be able to do that in our world. And the other way would be going crazy with CGI, but then that's like a totally different department. You need people who are really good at designing these type of things, conceptualizing them, visualizing them, but also money, right? So for 3-body, I think you can go 2 ways. Either it's just like almost eliminate the importance of special effect in terms of the high sci-fi things. The other way is going crazy with it. You can't just sit in the middle. If you sit in the middle, it's not gonna be something that has styles. It's just probably gonna not be satisfying to either of the type of audiences who are looking at this thing. Right now, they look like they're doing a lot of CGI, but in terms of the final result, this is far from the what we're gonna get in the end. So we'll see. Okay, let's see a couple of For people that 仙侠 drama, oh, someone said they only finished Love and Destiny. Lucky you. It's one of the best. Don't need to look at other ones, really. Because I don't think any of those exceeded the level of, let's say, the writing quality of Love and Destiny in the genre of things. So if you've watched Love and Destiny, most of the other things are either close or less, in my opinion. So I picked a good one to start with. Yang Mi is not dubbed. Yes, in trailer of Pearl Eclipse, it sounds like that. Let's hope it stays that way.《甄嬛传》, I do that too. Hey, Lauren. I've been replaying 甄嬛传 when I'm working on stuff. That doesn't require like me typing words out and thinking, but like working on hands and stuff, like making stuff. I've been playing it in the background. It's almost like a radio play now, because I know all the lines, I know all the characters, I know all the scenes, and Everything, really. I don't even need to look at the screen. I know exactly what they look like at the moment I hear the lines, how they act. I just do it as a background radio play. How many people are doing that? Like in Nirvana in Fire and then 甄嬛传, Empress in Palace are probably the two dramas I do most often as a background noise. I didn't cut my hair. I mean, I trim my hair occasionally, but they're still roughly the same. Because I need to comb and do the styling. If it's too short, it wouldn't work. Yeah. Don't feel too sad about the actors who don't get recognition much after the airing of Love and Destiny. Because for most of the supporting actors, really, they never really get much attention. And that's just the way, pretty much in every profession, it's like that. The people who get most attention are only the top couple of people. You know, it's Google and Apple that gets most of the attention, the other people don't, but doesn't mean they don't exist in the industry. Doesn't mean those companies are not doing well. They may doing very well, like with money and everything. They just don't have the... Because there are only that many positions people can occupy. Like in the business top level, and then also just general public's impression of people. You can only keep that many people in your perspective, like in your head at the same time. You can't have everyone in there all the time. But sometimes I think for actors, actually, you get a better life. Honestly, I think when you're not that famous, but you are known within the industry itself, so you always get work, you always get income, you have a lot of friends, you enjoy your work, but you don't get so much exposure that people go crazy around you. You don't want that. I think most people don't want that because their life gets so affected by how insane it gets. So the most ideal type of actors is successful enough to always get roles and to have fun with their work and sincerely enjoying it. And definitely having enough money to go around, but not so famous. Yeah. If you are if you're so well known and so popular, the risk of you being, you know, stand out as the bird that gets shot, right? 枪打出头鸟, right? That's the saying. So I actually feel for those not so famous actors. As long as they have enough to go around, have a rather satisfy their own personal life, it's the best. That's really the best. Not being the most famous one. Hardly anyone can really take that. From Chile, hi. What am I? Yeah, today we're just talking about dramas in general. Cause in the past 1 month, every week, one of the major 4 platforms have given out their plan for until next year. They probably had some kind of conference call between them and say, okay, I'm gonna take this week, you're gonna take next week, we're gonna go one after another to just put everything out. So it started with iQIYI, then Youku, then Mango, and this week Tencent. They all released their 2 upcoming drama list of 2022. It's so coordinated. Yeah. Have you seen Toronto? No, because it's not here. And it's not online yet. And even when it's online, I'm not gonna watch it. It's so... I just look at enough rent video on the film, I'm like, yeah, it's something better to avoid. director's going to air tomorrow. Yeah, I heard that. I think it's totally just made to their attempt. Okay, this is Tencent's attempt, or their variety show department's attempt to get the KPI they need before the end of the year. If they have a target, you know, annually we have to get that much traffic in. If we don't, we get punished, or I don't know. So they make up a show, like the directors thing, pretty much like last year's Actors Get Ready. Exactly not for the point of really doing anything for the industry, but only just for the purpose of getting a lot of internet fights on. Because it's gonna have ridiculous scenarios. It's gonna have people being like nasty to each other and all that live, or not live, like edited and out. And immediately, you know, like, reviewers, internet is gonna respond. It's gonna go on trending. It's gonna go everywhere. People are gonna rant about the ridiculous scenarios, and then Tencent gets all the traffic. That's the purpose of that show. It's not to discover great directors or good actors or help anything about the effed up film and television production industry. It is just for Tencent to get traffic. So it's gonna have a lot of shit moments happening for sure. But that's what it's intended for. 100%. That's what they do. Why do they always do this type of show at the end of the year? Do you wonder why? Why don't they do it at the middle of the year, summer? Why don't they do it at the beginning of the year? They always do it in November and December. Those acting competition, what type of shows? Yeah, because it's a 流量密码. It's been proven it works for getting click rates and traffic, and that's why. So that's its purpose. Don't take it seriously. It is all shows. All those directors, actors, you know, they're already, sometimes they're signed under each other. Sometimes they already are collaborating. Sometimes and just like they look like they're enemies. For certain actors, they're competing against each other, or certain directors. It's all a show. They planned it so that it gets responses from internet, it gets traffic, and then they get the cut of money, whatever. Don't believe a thing throughout those shows, like when people show you. None of that is real. It's all for KPI. Yeah? Have that really skeptical view about these things, because it is. If you take it too hard and be serious about, oh, that actor is being treated so poorly, oh my god, that person is like so truthful. None of that is real. It's all a show. Okay, people are typing really fast, so I can't catch everything. Sorry about that. Oh, so fast. You guys. Have to go. Okay, for people have to go, goodbye. Have a great day. And also, people keep asking me about certain dramas and certain actors in the chat. There are a couple of, like I've said before, there are a couple of actors, and for reasons my older, like, long-time viewers probably know, there are a couple of people I'm just trying not to mention in any form in my videos. Or in live, right? It's basically called I don't want to look for trouble, so I'll make the choice of not talking anything about that, or about particular people or particular things. Honestly, there are just too many things going on at the time, and you can voluntarily just pick something that you want to ignore. You can't take care of everything. You can't talk about everything. You can't care about everything. There is so much going on anyway. And certain things just gets really, like, it's like a rabbit hole, you know? Once you start, it just never ends. And like, well, what's the point? Makes you very, very tired at the end of it. I've already watched 2 episodes of Wisher, which came out yesterday. Today's new update, I haven't yet. Looks good. At least it looks like a proper thriller, mystery type of drama. Has the right pacing, has a lot of details designed into it, and every scene, at least in the first 2 episodes I've seen, every scene that takes place on camera has its purpose. It's not just there to fill time. There's some kind of information in every scene that it will tell you that is useful for the later stuff. So far for the first 2. So looks like a standard qualified thriller. It's kind of a mixture of Final Destination, Butterfly Effect, and what else? It looks like a couple of genres mixed together type of story. So pretty interesting. Hopefully it can last through the entirety of 12 episodes. You know, don't give me an absolutely ridiculous dream scenario as you seen last year in Sisyphus. You know, like 在劫难逃鹿晗 and Wang Qianyuan. Don't do that. Like I'd be really disappointed if they do that. My dear brothers, it's very cute. Yeah, I should. I've heard about that title a couple of times. I'll see if I can get around. Have you ever binge watched a drama until dawn? Not that often, but I think I have. Not very often, because it requires the drama to have many episodes out in one go, or by the time I discovered it, there are already like 10 episodes out there. If it's only just airing and I caught it, then it won't ever happen. Right. Nini been having any new projects? Isn't Nini working on the Donglun one right now? They're still filming. She and her perfect husband, huh? I will keep my expectation reasonable for every drama, really, and any drama that contains Xu Kai and Yao Mi. Not that I have any problems with them, it's just because track record. Like all the dramas they've been in are kind of like, you get a feeling it's gonna be that type of drama, and it's just never gonna be surprisingly good. It may be okay, or it may be weird, or it may have really embarrassing writing. But like, I don't have expectations of the dramas being exquisite. It's just me, so I'm like, okay, I'll wait till it shows up and see what comes out of it. Korean dramas often, no, not these days, used to. Don't have time. Literally it's because don't have time. Before I started this channel, there was one between 15 and 16, 20, 15 and 16. I watched a lot of Korean dramas. They're short mostly, so it's easy to digest and stuff. But these days, not much, unfortunately. The Bond. Only watched up to 12. I couldn't deal with the family drama. It's just too blood pressure raising. And I was like, I want a mental peace. So I didn't continue watching. I have no problem with the drama itself. It's just, it's too drama. It's like too much chicken fly and dog bite stuff going on all the time. No, chicken fly, yeah, dog bite, yeah. 鸡飞狗跳, no, doesn't matter. You know what I mean. A long time ago, I wrote a blog a long time ago on the dramas I like from Korea, but that was a couple of years ago. So afterwards, a few more came out that were very successful. In a way, I still feel though some older ones are better. The recent couple of years, there are a few Korean dramas that are really popular, globally speaking. But somehow, I just feel like even the older ones are even better. Like the early 2010s ones, there are a couple that are really good. The ones that got really popular, let's say after 2017 or 18, somehow I just never quite connect with them. Like, I agree, some of them are nice, but they're just nice to look at. I don't get, like, goosebumps. I mean, for example, Goblin, I know it's so popular, right? But honestly, for me, when I watched the drama, I was just like, yeah, it's okay. But like not the hormonal kind of like reaction, none of that came from that drama. Although it's so popular, right? I still prefer the older ones, like I Hear Your Voice, or you know, those like even older ones. I think those scripts are so well written. I think you need a good balance between realism and fantasy. Like, if you have something like this so fantastical, then it loses touch with the burden of existence of humanity. And usually Korean dramas and films are really good at dealing with like effed up people in the effed up society. And they can, like, with that, it has teeth. You know, it has teeth and it's pokey, and it has that spirit. Whereas if you just make it so fantastical that it loses touch completely, it becomes, it just loses what Korean film and drama is best at doing up to this point. Because I'd say each country and each type of region has its particular strength of telling stories. And it's like, it becomes a culture and a particular style or particular, let's just say, what, you know, everybody's good at something that other people are not that good at. So usually when Korean television series and films, when they want to deal with the realistic things that are pretty effed up in life, it gets really good. It gets so good. And then once it gets lifted up from there and starts to go free and totally fantastical, it starts to become immediately not as interesting and well written somehow. It's just like, in my observation, it has been happening like that. Pretty much every widely recognized great Korean television series or film are like rooted in reality. Think about all the ones that got awards or got like huge responses somehow. Japanese dramas, even less these days. I think the golden ages of Japanese dramas was really in the 80s and 90s. But that's just my opinion. And there are so many good ones back then. And then they're all 11 episodes long, okay? Apart from the historicals from NHS. No, not NHS, what am I saying? The Japanese television station that does the historical every year. Like 50, 60, however many episodes. I remember the 11 episodes era of like so many classics. So many classics from 80s and 90s. So to me, it's like the NHK, yeah. It was like the golden era, and then, at least, and they no longer become that interesting to me. Although a couple of good ones still show up every year that were impressive, and I think Japanese drama these days, in Asia, comparatively speaking, their visual, the style, and the look of it seems to be a little bit outdated compared to, say, South Korea production or even China's production. They kind of don't really put that much effort in making the hardware department of a production super cool and like breaking through from that angle. But the script writing quality always is pretty solid. the good ones. Like if you compare the super well written Chinese drama with Korean drama with Japanese drama almost never just do much on the technical aspects in terms of being like leading edge, but the observation of humanity often goes to a very deep level. And also in a way, I really like certain Japanese, like the overall actor and actresses casting of Japanese dramas. They don't really are so like particularly like China or that are so dead set on casting super good looking people for all the roles, or beautify them to the point that they look like plastic, right? You don't see that in Japanese drama at all, and I like that. I like that much more than having everybody looking like they're like mannequins. They just don't even look like human anymore. But I don't watch that many Japanese drama and Korean drama these days to have really that much more to say about it. 99% of my watching time is Chinese drama land. Unfortunately, in a way, because there aren't that many good works, let's be honest. Shoplifter, yeah, good film. Thai dramas, I don't even have time to. I only know there are a couple that are really well known. Chongqing 老乡, oh, somebody, yeah. You're from Chongqing, hi. Chongqing now is just like in C drama land, Chongqing is the crime city now, it's Gotham. It has been decided, because Wisher is filmed in Chongqing. The moment it started, I was like, holy moly, it's filmed in Chongqing again. I was like, okay, the land of crime, the land of crime. Dramaland has decided so. Japanese behaviors are unrealistic in Japanese dramas. Well, I think it's still partially based on how Japanese people act for real. It may have dramatization, but parts of it is still pretty real of how they act. If you've been there and then lived there for a while, you probably realize that. There's kind of social expectation of you having to do certain things in certain ways. If you don't, then it just doesn't work. It wouldn't apply to everyone and every situation, but in certain situations, you probably, different kind of culture people tend to act in a certain set ways. And it's not so weird within the Japanese context. It may be super weird if you are from very far away culture and you never really quite had experience with it before. Chongqinghua is so cute. Chongqinghua is very masculine and male. If dialect has genders, Chongqinghua is the very, very, very man dialect. It makes you sound like an angry man all the time. YC netizens are picking on Jinghan. It's not picking on him. It's like in the book, like in original text, he's written as a particular type of, like, there are words describing what he looks like. And then the actor is very far away from it. And also, like, it's a personal thing for sure. It's like, if you think somebody is like the best looking person, the person next to you may not agree with you and think that's the ugliest person, and you two can fight till the end of history, and there's still not gonna be like an answer coming from heavenly cloud and dictate, no, you're wrong and you're right. So, technically speaking, I mean, there is no one can have the final say on who is pretty or not. It totally depends on your personal perspective. But on internet, I think, and then again, that there is a majority and minority thing. Is usually a particular person, right? There will have a majority opinion of a big number of people if you have the big enough pool to choose from. If you have 1,000 people, 1,000,000 people, and they would vote, is this person good looking or not to you? Then you probably see a data at the end that has a clear. It's very hard to see it standing in the middle, right? Usually it will have some kind of tendency of saying this part, more people think is good looking, more people think this person's not good looking. So it totally depends on how many people are looking at it and then majority of the opinion. But then that's just to talk about what you think this person, like good looking or not. And a lot of that is also to do with the entire drama's production's very lazy attitude. They don't tell a proper story. They don't even go through their script to figure out if it makes sense to tell a story like that. People act in illogical ways and it doesn't make sense. Things don't connect. Then it's just like it's produced in a hurry, and it didn't treat the audiences with respect. It's not hard to tell if a story trusts in audiences' intelligence or not, or whether they want to tell a good story or whether they're just in for whatever other purposes of making a drama. It's very easy to tell that. Imagine everybody alive today, your ancestors have that ability. Otherwise, you would not be here, because your ancestors would have died in the history of evolution. That DNA wouldn't have passed on to you. So if you are watching dramas now today, you all have that, which is the ability to tell if somebody is genuine or not to an extent, right? Some people might be more sensitive to it, some people less, but we are today alive humans, so we all are like that. So you don't have to question something that is just like naturally in you. And to whether it's to one person that you meet in life or it's like a television series that's out there, it's not hard for you to detect, what is the real intention behind the storytellers making it. What are they in for? I think it's the very disingenuous and very like not pay respect to the audience and 敷衍. That's the Chinese word for it. Attitude of making a drama that makes people angry. And they find the unleashing point of that anger at he doesn't look good enough. But the bigger reason is the story is like many other rented dramas I've rented about, right? And also the producer of this drama, she just makes it worse. She comes out and say things that just angers people furthermore. So it ends up like that. Also, because certain people really do have, let's say, unusual background in the entertainment business, and they get resources that they probably don't deserve, and that also angers people, because it's a type of, it's like certain people belong to a different class, therefore they have more special treatment and resources. And in our world, it's always 不患寡而患不均, which is people are naturally not that afraid of scarcity things not being enough. They're worried about things not being equally distributed. And for the acting, it's the same. It's certain actors and actresses. They do have, let's say, even like not really publicly known, but it's not true. If you do a little bit digging, you may find out. They have a little bit unusual background, family background, and therefore they kind of just can, like, nobody give them trouble. If trouble happens, they kind of get away with it too. With that special class, it just angers people who do not have it, and that's also very understandable in any society. I think in China particularly, because China is the society currently, at least, is the one that has gone through a huge wave of revolution and cutting out all the special traditional feudal societies, sort of higher class, and supposedly everybody is on the same level. Therefore, if you start to see somebody getting special treatment, it makes people even more angry. In the society that is supposedly not to be like that. But those things are more like for further back reasons and deeper reasons for that. On the surface, it would just be most people wouldn't agree certain person are good looking enough to play certain roles. And they want to compare these people to the older time good looking guys and actors. Oh, thank you for super chat. I think previously there's another super chat I missed. I heard the sound, but I didn't look at the chat. So sorry for whoever you are. You sent me a super chat and didn't catch it. Asia Omar, thank you for your super chat. There was one before, I think. I missed it. Sorry about that. There are a lot of people in this industry who have this type of political or military or whatever background that goes back a couple of generations and gives them special access. And also in the Beijing culture circle and Beijing film circle, the most powerful directors, scriptwriters, producers who are in their 50s, 60s, even 70s today, these people that was the leader of the culture for decades in China and now are the established power in this whole thing. Most of them come from this type of political family that has very, like a lot of power earlier on, and it's real, it's true, and particularly the Beijing circle is heavily based on that. Pretty much every well-known person in this whole game are from that background or have some kind of connection with it. Or are recognized by that established circle or as one of us. They may not be born in that, but because of later, whatever, making friendships and whatever stuff, they become accepted by that circle and they get the power. And these people are not the forefront actors anymore because they're old. They're like 50, 60 years old. But then a lot of the younger actresses working today have some type of connection with them. There may be relatives. They may be, like their parents may be friends, or there may be some type of that just happens. And these days, without any of that 关系, right? And a random person shows up and then suddenly becomes the most popular, most like kind of star is very unlikely. Not saying it can't happen. Maybe 1 in a million chance of that happening, and that would just mean this person just is fated to become super popular and influential. Otherwise, most of the people operating these days have some kind of background. Without that, they wouldn't be able to have the resources to show up on screen for you. And it's the reality. It's this industry is very 关系 based, very, very, very 关系 based. It makes up like 90% of who are out there for you to see. I'm not asking anyone to stop mentioning anybody, okay? You can keep typing, but I would selectively pick what I have time to talk about. Also, just because everybody is typing so much stuff all the time. Oh, 雪中悍刀行, somebody said. Yeah, can't wait. I think it's gonna come out before the end of the year. I have a feeling for it, because I don't see why they won't. They need one drama at the end of the year to push the KPI up, and it looks like a potentially good one to perform that task. It has Zhang Ruoyun, has pretty much the entire crew of Joy of Life looking. It definitely is going to attract a lot of people to watch it when it shows up. And I just want to share with you before I sat down. So this is the new poster that got released, right, yesterday. 雪中悍刀行, Snow Sword Strike. You probably have all seen that. So Zhang Ruoyun looks like that. Let me just in the poster. And then there's a gif of an owl that looks exactly like that too. I saw that on the internet. And I was like, I love internet. Like, for these things, they're so cool. Perfect. Okay, the owl would just look exactly like Zhang Ruoyun. Long-legged bird. Owls are so weird. They look like alien constructions. You know, like, owl has so many things that are unusual about them. When they fly, they don't make sound, which doesn't happen with any other birds. Because of the structure of their feather, they hardly make any sound. But any other birds, even an eagle, where will have when it glides through the air, it will create sound, but owls don't. They have unusually long legs, like up to here, up to neck legs. They can turn their head, I think, 270 degrees. They have like, their eyeballs are not a ball. Their eyes are a cylinder. So they have to turn the head to turn the eye. The eye it goes in their head like this. Like a stick. So there are so many things that are absolutely crazy about owls. They're like the most crazy birds out there possible. And they look like, they look like there's kind of, they came off a drawing board. It don't look natural in a way. It looks so crazy. And they have so many weird habits and abilities. It's just quite incredible. I like natural fighter jets that's like built somehow by it. It just feels like it's so built by another intelligent species, designed to have all those crazy elements. Oh, it's creepy. They're incredible. They're so unusual. So different from every other bird out there. You wonder where they come from, right? Made to kill, yeah. The long leg is the most funny thing about those birds. They look like they're chubby, and then, but then when they lift their skirt, you're like, what? Those eyes. Immortality news? Not any. I still think all the BL dramas will air. First is they probably have to spread it out and then not promote it as crazily and cut a few stuff that might give them trouble out. Yeah. Don't worry too much in terms of none of them are gonna see the day of light. I don't think so. It's mostly just to do with the companies, the actors agencies, the fandom just going overboard when this type of CPE shows up to first is instigate a lot of unnecessary fight and anger and conflict online, and then it goes to the worst part is if it involves any monetary misconduct. People use that as an excuse to cash in, and it goes too like overboard. And a lot of those people who young people, teenagers, students still in school who are not earning their own money gets involved in it. And that's definitely sort of because of the bad result that came out of these things. That's why I think the very strict sort of attitude and from top down on BL. It's not actually about BL itself, really. About like it's two guys, two girls, two whatever. It's more about how it has gotten to the weird way of operating around. Once you have an IP like that, how you promote around it, how you just get money out of it, how you squeeze and milk it like crazy from all parts involved. The actors, maybe their agencies, production companies, platforms, fandoms, bigger leaders in fandoms who are literally in it professionally for money. They stir up fights. They make a lot of like really crazy things going on, and then they get the money out of it and then quit. And they move on to the next target and move on to the next thing that they can milk. It's because of all those crazy things that happens that it's not much to do with the stories themselves, really. Because in China, whether it's BG or BL, you can't go overboard with any of that. Like if you do too much intimacy, you're gonna get censored anyway. It's not like the same sex gets special treatment, a special sort of scrutinization of things. It's pretty much the same across the board. But well, it is what it is. What can you do? Crime Crackdown. It has a lot of episodes cut out of its final. Like the one that you see out is heavily cut down. So it's very unsatisfactory. A lot of things are not explained, and clearly you can see a particular person got almost completely cut out, who are supposedly to be the bad boss in the end. And then there are a couple of lines that got very important lines that got changed in post-production, in dubbing, that changed your understanding of certain characters. So Crime Crackdown is very sad in terms of the version we see today is not what it was initially written. And why things got censored out, we'll never find out. They wouldn't show you the original version and tell you why it got censored out. Who knows? We probably, unless you're part of the production, like you're involved in it. You're the producer, you're the director, you're the writer, you probably know. So within the circle, if you find the right person in the industry and just ask them, what happened, they probably can tell you. But unless you know them, there's no public way of knowing what happened with that drama. Who knows? Okay, I'm just checking something. And for censorship, okay, don't make it out to be like a huge monster that tries to destroy everything. That's just a very simple look at it. within like anybody who censors anything, right? There's also a power play behind it, always. It's like think about any bureau and any kind of government structure. There are always parties. You know, I have power, you have power, who are fighting against whatever. Everybody has their agenda, whatever. So it's never that easy. It's like it's not like everybody has the same brain and they just do one thing, and all like everybody is supposedly the government's mouthpiece. It's more like different groups have their different motivations, and then they have this power struggle behind. So certain things gets away because of whatever, and then it's always that play behind it that result in what gets a green light and what doesn't. And there's a very well-known story, actually. You know the film Coco, the animation that's super well made. It aired in it went into cinema in China, and it was very well received. Supposedly it couldn't because it's talking about dead people, spirits, death, all that. You know, like in supposedly this type of superstitious thing is not gonna go through Chinese censorship. But imagine like all the contemporary stuff that cannot have like 妖怪 and 神仙 and ghosts and all that, right? But why did that film pass? It's because, okay, the going around, and I think pretty confirmed story was, yes, by the rules, it cannot go into Chinese cinema. But everybody who watched the film when they censored it, so the people who censored the film Coco, everyone was so moved by it. It's literally everybody who was censoring the film cried. So, it passed. See, like, things don't just like, it's funny how it works in reality. Supposedly, the theme of it, the story of it, the depiction of the dead, like, or the afterlife and underworld, is not gonna go through Chinese censorship anyway, but hey, you know, who knows? It's because it's so well made, and everybody was like, wow, this film is so good, we have to pass it. So it's talk about censorship, hey, interesting story. You can't get special treatment. That's the thing. Like, rules are rules, but rules can be broken when it's worth doing that, you know. So the mystery of censorship. These type of things are never that simple. It's never just. It's very complicated always. 梦见狮子, I watched a couple of episodes. I'm still to go back. I think I stopped at 3 or 4. Yeah, it is. Chinese censorship never tells you what the standard is. And it's so, in many ways, right? It's like the people who are in that position, they consider what's best for themselves. Which is, if I let it pass and it causes some kind of commotion out there, then it's the end of my career. So I'd rather be safe and not make mistakes and get and live till the end of my, you know, like working day, and then I get my retirement. I don't want to get kicked out before I can get my retirement pension and stuff. That definitely plays into it. So therefore, it's like a better play is safe. You know, it's because all those are made up by real people, and real people have their real concerns. I mean, certain politicians are like that too, in certain countries. They don't quite care about their policies, whether it's going to affect in long term of the well-being of the nation. They just want to do something that's not going to get themselves in trouble, and they can get safely till the end of their career and then retire and be happy. And then whatever happens afterwards, even the world collapses, as long as I'm dead, by that time, it no longer matters, right? Star of the Ocean. I haven't started, but I haven't started. But I already have been told about how like dog blood it is. It has so many classic, just like crazy plot jammed into one, and it's like middle-aged actors all playing 20-year-old kids, and having the most crazy kind of typical drama plot happening. It might be interesting to look at, just see how crazy it is. And I think it's doing very well on the satellite television end, because it's airing on Mango, and on the grandmothers, the mothers of the family who holds the remote, are giving it very good responses. So it's getting, this is the highest rating drama from Mango this year up to this point. Like in terms of like what's the percentage of the television rate, like when they get the numbers back, right? How many people are watching? But I haven't checked it out yet. I'll see if it's worth doing so. Honestly, just looking at a couple of like clips from it, I am a little bit like watching that, like seeing Lin Feng like back hugging Liu Tao and saying those lines. It just it's like my goosebumps are like ee. But maybe like while you're watching it, it's not so crazy once you get into the story. But I just looking at clips, it makes me a little bit How many years have these two been around? They were in my youth. I still remember 大唐双龙传 or 寻秦记 with Lin Feng. Oh, that was how many years ago? I was still in school. I was reading the novels secretively when I'm supposed to study. 寻秦记. So it's like how many years have gone by, and how old I am now, and then these two people are still around on screen and playing 20-year-old characters' love story. Like, come on. It is a little bit to watch that. It's a little bit weird, let's just say. Yeah, Liu Tao is 40. Over 40. I can't remember the exact age, but she's not that young anymore. What Mango drama were you all mentioning? They're talking about the Star of the Ocean, 星辰大海. Tan Songyun at 40. She just happens to have a very, Tan Songyun just happens to have a very almost like undeveloped face in terms of like maturity. Like she still has like the young girl or children almost structural face because of that the proportion. And it's very rare for people to have that. So she can play a very young character, and you wouldn't feel it's like off at all. And it's definitely to do with what she naturally is like. And not everyone has that. Hardly anybody has that. So it's her sort of special deal. And there are very, very small number of people who have that. It's like even when they're in their sort of 20s, 30s, 40s, they still have like a teenagers or even younger kind of kids facial structure. I've once like watched a documentary about a British cop going undercover, and it's one of the female It's a policewoman who is over 30 years old, in her mid-30s. But she is so kid-looking, like facial-wise and like height-wise. She pretends to be a little like a teenager to go into a bar to basically, it's like the and to go undercover, and nobody discovered that. Like everybody thought she is really a teenager, and those people do exist, but very rarely do you have that special DNA. You can't hope for it, and then it's just like either you get the lottery or not. Censorship rules? Censorship never tells you what are the rules clearly, but it just tells you they wouldn't appreciate what goes on. So like the most recent is mostly about variety shows. Is like you can't do the advertising thing. You cannot, like, there are a couple of rules that got laid out. You can't do those idol selection things with this, with that. So pretty much the entire idol selection thing is dead, and those were clearly laid out. But in terms of like what type of, like, and honestly speaking, okay, if there's a really good script, but it's like a really solidly well-made story, it has elements of supernatural whatever, seemingly not gonna get through censorship, it doesn't mean it won't really, if it's really like recognized with its quality and storytelling quality, and it's a story worth telling, it could still go through. Like, it's never that, I'd say for all the creators, right, it's more important that they pay attention to the work in there at hand and really care for its quality, and that is more important than trying to guess what element is not gonna get through, what is like, or what is gonna make me quit money, or what, like, just trying to get trying to do it the easy way, basically, and trying to cheat it, put out crap and hoping that you can get like unreasonable proportional income or result. And if you're in it for that, it's gonna be more and more difficult from now on, I think. If you have high quality, right, if you really genuinely have really good stuff, I don't think there'll be intention from above to destroy you because you have a really good story. It's the other way around. If your stuff is really good, you're gonna get special treatment. Because these days really well written, well produced, high quality stuff is so rare to come by, and people who work in this industry, they know. It's not hard to tell, right, what is good and what is bad and what is worth putting out there, what is not. So if you have good things, you know, it's not hard to see, like I am like much more optimistic in that. It's more important you have high quality stuff to start with, instead of worrying about this and that. Also, like, if your motivation is impure, basically, if you're not really, like, you're saying you're making a television series or a film and you don't really intend to be responsible for the story you tell, or to do what you're supposed to do professionally, you are totally in for it for other purposes, whatever that is, whether it's money laundering or whatever. You don't have like a good intention to start with, then it's gonna be harder and harder in the future to get that realized.只是没有确定关系而已. I've heard about that. Gwen, you asked. I've heard about that title. It's so similar to 只是结婚关系, right? This is 只是没有确定关系而已. I think I have an impression of that. I haven't watched it yet. Drink water, get your sleep, it slows your aging, sure. Good sleep. Exercise. Eat healthy. And also like live, like make it possible to like really like release your stress as much as you can. Yin-yang contracts. Who knows? It's definitely a very common thing in this industry, but these days people are probably very careful about doing that. I have heard about scumbag villain self-saving system. I heard it's good. I know it's good, okay? I just don't have time. I know there's an animation series out there that's really, really nice. Just hear the title, you know it's an interesting story. Water, water, water. Water, water, water. And get it filtered. Get it filtered. I mean, in the West, people drink from tap, but in China, you would still boil, or you go and buy like whatever, like bottled. But I say no, drink from bottled water, or even those big cans, plastic. Too much plastic, right? Leaking. Just normal tap water, but then filter it with whatever filter that works for you. Because it tastes so different. Like if you drink from tap, like from Canada, and then you filter it, it's like it's even the texture of the water is different in your mouth. You can tell. One feels like a totally different thing from another. It's just so mean. Thank you for your super chat. It's so obvious. So filter your water. There's too much chemicals in the tap water thing. Dear Diary, I probably will make a video about it. And also, if you watch Chinese reviewers, if you understand it, you can watch the Wame on Bilibili. I think she put it on YouTube too, which is she did an interview with a director and producer. And also there's another interview, another account that is a professional reviewer who's been around for years. Tanfei, I think. I don't like this guy, but he has a channel on Bilibili, and he did an interview with Dear Diary's director on camera, talking about the whole thing. So it's pretty interesting. It's definitely like extra, like off class, right? Your personal sort of extra tutorial reading in these things, and talking about how they did that and what's the idea behind it, and all those extra feature stuff. They're all on Bilibili. Did you do anything for Halloween? No. No. I was editing the 闲暇. And I was doing too much editing on the day. That was a crazy day in Winnipeg. We had some weird weather. We had rainy day in the morning, and then close to noon it was snowing with horizontal winds blowing like crazy. Then the sun came out. Then it turned cloudy. So within one day we had 4 weathers that one day on Halloween. It was like perfect. I guess this is like the 阴气, the 阴森森, all the deadly spirit and the negative end of the spectrum of energy, right? Going around. We had like crazy weather that day. Very suitable for Halloween for sure. Yeah. So before the end of this year, I think the Pearl Eclipse is coming out. The 当家主母 is coming out in a couple of days. The 于正 Qin Dynasty setting drama by 蒋勤勤、杨蓉、张慧雯、徐海乔. So that drama is coming out. On the 9th, it's the Fall in Love, and then I'm betting on at least like latest December, Sword Snow Strike should come out. Because I don't see why they wouldn't put it out at this time. It just feels like a right time for this type of drama, right? I don't see Tencent not doing that. This year, before the end of the year, probably no BL anymore. But next year, I still think we're gonna see a couple. And what else are the dramas? I heard rumors about maybe no, it's not confirmed. Well, we'll talk about that when it's confirmed. Anyway, so November, December usually okay, for all major platforms, they will air 1 or 2 dramas that they have high hope for, pushing the end of the year traffic to like a good ending, to make their end of the year annual report looks better. Usually that's what happens. Think about last couple of years, what the platforms threw out at the end of the year, December. They usually threw out the things that may not be the highest quality, but they know will get a lot of hashtags, trending tags, fandoms working people's attention. They will put out the high traffic leading dramas. They will put high controversial stuff like the actors get ready or directors get ready or whatever. And they need it, right? Because different departments, personally, they have that need to say, we want to achieve a good number. We need the end of the year bonus money. If we don't hit the number, maybe we don't get it. So let's just go crazy on like no matter how noisy it gets, it's better than silence. So I don't see why they wouldn't put out a couple of potentially highly trafficking drama before the end of the year. We can look forward to at least 4 or 5 of those dramas across different platforms. Any word my wife is a thief? Can't quite connect that one with the Chinese, but I think it's a period drama, right? With somebody who marries into a noble family. I don't think there's any recent update. There are just too many dramas in that genre. If they're like made recently, most likely coming out next year. Hikaru no Go, we had it in October, middle of it, right? Now it's already November. Would like to see adaptation. Is there an IP that you would see in? Not really, because I'm not a big web novel reader. I don't enjoy chasing text. So like people write it daily, right? They write 3,000 or 10,000, like how many ever words, and it keeps going and it goes on hundreds and hundreds of chapters. It's web novel. I hated that kind of way of reading. I absolutely hated it. I only read things that has been edited multiple times and it's published as a final piece of work that has gone through rounds and rounds of editing from the author and then from the editor. I somehow, I don't want to consume words like I consume variety shows. It's just weird to me. Again, maybe I'm old-fashioned. I find reading web novels that you do not know where it leads. You do not know if it has a definitive ending. You don't even know if this person is gonna quit halfway writing. It's just crazy. It's like I'm not doing that. Somehow it feels just like not right for me, but it's just for me. You want to see quality in Tencent? Wow. Tencent needs to reincarnate before that can happen. Do you know, like back in 2011, Tencent had this meeting where Ma Huapeng and his top 16 managers in the whole company, they had this big conference, and he asked everybody to write down a couple of words about what do you think is essentially important about Tencent, or Tencent in essence, what it is. And the two words that came out with the highest numbers that from the 16 top management plus him is two words: capital, traffic. That's the nature, the essence of Tencent as a big conglomerate company. And most of its doing is not even in film and television business. Film and television makes up like the tiny bit of its entire structure. Gaming is huge for Tencent. And then a lot of other things. They think of themselves as capital, traffic. And you hope quality from it. In Chinese, it's pretty much like 你在想屁吃. You're thinking about fart you want to eat, which is not gonna happen unless it dies and reincarnate. Okay, with its current body and people leading it and their idea about what they are, essentially, and how most of the money comes to their pocket. Quality is the last thing they care about. They care about capital and traffic. Controlling all kinds of traffic, right? All kinds of data, all kinds of like threshold of these things. It's WeChat, it's the payment, it's gaming, it's all those things. Not quality. They just want everyone uses my stuff. Whether it's like WeChat is so not easy to use, but because everybody uses it in China, therefore they. 狐妖小红娘, I have heard about it. Why have I heard about all those names? Somehow I have, but I only have heard of it. 赵露思, You know, honestly, from my opinion, 赵露思 had a lot of potential, but I'm seeing it quickly being overused and cashed in, and I'm worried it's gonna burn out very soon. What 赵露思is going on, like her route or her path, is very similar to what Didi Reba did. Which is when they started, they have like really good, let's say, hardware, okay, as an actress. And everybody has a lot, and they show up with some very, not so well known, but quite interesting productions. And you kind of see the little sparks that come off them. I'm just like, wow, highly potentially a good one for future. They have something, but then they both decided to go down the traffic route, and they repeat their roles. They play the same thing over and over and over and over for years and years and years, and they start to have this almost they start to do 行活. Okay, I don't know if you have the same wording in English. The type of job that is not designed for each particular case, that you design and you think for it, what's unique about it, you put the genuine part of you in it. And every time it's different, but every time it kind of pushes the boundary of your possibilities. And that's one way of doing it. And they're doing 行活 is they figure out a system or structure that works kind of okay, and then they don't invest anymore here in it to push it anymore. They just repeat it because they know if I do this, I get like 60 to 70% of the result I want, and it's enough. I don't need to for the next 10%, like say I push it from 70 to 80 and 90, but to do that, I have to kind of like break myself down and like it's too much to cost myself. I'd rather go down this. It's like, it's safe, it's repeatable, it's like McDonald's and KFC. Every time you go in, you get the same food, and it's guaranteed. It's gonna satisfy you, meet your satisfaction, never break through it. It gets the money, it gets quick turnover. Like, they both kind of pick that route, and they decide this is the way I want to go. And I'm not saying like if there's a definitive right or wrong for them, which is the best way. But you can't have both. Like, you decide one, then you have to give up the other. And they both decided to go down that route, that KFC and McDonald's way. And so, see how many roles they've played in different productions that are totally interchangeable, and you no longer see anything new coming out of their performance. But they're pretty. They're just always pretty, and they're probably getting prettier and prettier as the stylist gets more clever, and as they become more aware of like what's the best angle of me. Or they probably don't worry about that because they're so perfect, honestly. They probably look good anyway. So like it's their decision of having that, and maybe personally it's the best choice they have, because that's like the least amount of input I can put in and get the most amount of output I can get. So for every body, we are naturally, all humans are like that, right? In a way, it's not wrong. It's very survival instinct, and it's very it's like the business that gets you the best return. So if you think about it from that angle, then at least they can do it. Not that many people can do it. Only a few lucky ones get to play it that way. But I mean, in an alternative universe, if they went on the other route, there might be a possibility of more interesting work of theirs that gets created. And let's say, like, what would be the meaning of that, right? They probably don't get that much money, not much popularity, and they don't have so many followers. They don't get so much attention. They may have some more interesting stuff left years and years later when people look back on them, right, and on those works. Those works may have more extended influence, and more meaning. But then again, whether it's going to benefit them while they are, around, maybe not. So you have to decide what you want, and then you go for it, right? If you can stick to it and do 100%, whether it's route A or route B, I still say it's like, most people would not be able to do that. It's hard work anyway. It's just different kind of hard work. And then depending on how you look at it, you win some and you lose some, either way. Just occasionally you feel, like a little bit sad. I wonder in an alternative universe how it would turn out. And anyway, like either route people pick, they usually, like, honestly, they still, like, materially speaking, they probably live a much more just like crazy life than we do anyway, like day job, like salary earners and wage earners. So end of the day, it doesn't quite make sense for us to feel bad about them. It's like, yeah, but after all they still earn more than you do, a lot more, with the hours they put in. So they've already got like the kind of the easy job in this world. There's so many more essential jobs on this planet without which we cannot survive, are done by people who get so little pay in comparison and who risk so much more. You know, the very stereotypical thing, but it's true. Doctors, firefighters, like certain very weird, like you don't even think about jobs that's essential. Like the people who take care of high pressure, like high voltage electricity lines. When there's an ice storm, they have to go up and break the ice. It's like you may go up and never come back, you know, like that type of thing. And you only get like how much wage every month? People who go out and inspect sewer tunnels, that type of terrible. You can't imagine how bad the job can smell like, but essential, and they don't get recognized, and nobody knows about them, and then they don't get well paid at all. So there are so many jobs out there that we cannot live without as humanity as whole. But these people never get like anywhere close to fame, money anyway. So take that into perspective, then you don't need to feel so bad about any of those stand on the stage and get like limelight people. Really, they still have one of the easiest job in this world in terms of input and output. They're already super lucky. Cheng Xiao's acting. She can't act. Am I gonna die because I said that? Most of the idol turned actors and actresses, most of them cannot act. Very few of them have like talent, but then only talent is not enough. You need a lot of training. And you know, depending on who you compare it to and what kind of standard you use. And I think currently this entire world has an overinfestation of being politically correct and sensitive to the point where we just don't want to criticize anyone for anything. But let's say if there isn't a standard for, say, acting, you know, if it's totally personal opinion, if it's only, I like it, I don't like it, I like it, it's the best, I don't care what other people say. If that's only, right, that's the only standard, why are there academies that you have to actually get through crazy auditions to get admitted? Why are there still teachers training you? If it's only just everyone can do it and it's all equal, why are there still awards and sort of generally recognized that this person is good and you know, they have their industry kind of recognized position? It when you say, you know, like you just somehow have to treat everyone super nicely, and then say everything is okay and acceptable. And it's the same thing about whatever you look like or whatever your body shape is, however, you know, it looks like, it's all perfect. It's all perfect. You're all very beautiful. Then why do we have words even? Everything is, let's destroy the word. You know, let's just not have bad, not have ugly, not have like taste like shit. We just destroy the expressions completely. Everything would be perfect. We don't even have words to describe things we don't like anymore. Everything is good. Right? If that is like what people are, like, it's ridiculous when you think about that. Why is that okay? Obviously there are standards for every profession. There is things that there are you know, good carpenter and great carpenter. There is a difference, and then people charge differently because of the level of like quality of work they produce. And then, I mean, what's wrong with that? But somehow, you know, these days the internet is so weird. Is you can't say anything bad about anybody. Immediately you get a hat put on your head, you know, and then this is like discrimination. That is this. That is you're a terrible person. And I'm like, so people who really have opinions, they just shut up because they don't want to say anything. Because whatever they say, you know, some weird people are gonna come up and argue with them. And so, but doesn't mean people stop having opinions. And I think stopping people to share their opinions and then just make everything look rosy and perfect is bad. That is the danger. That really creates problems. It's better to be able to talk about things than just nobody. Like everybody pretends to be agreeable on the surface and then they just pent up the things in secretly in heart and then find out an outlet somewhere to explode it. Well, I don't know, like which one is better. So like when I say about like actors and actresses, right? I still put a filter on that, and I usually damp it a bit. I am more critical and much more cruel when I'm in private, talking to people that I know who don't buy into this whole thing. Friends, in our chats, we are very sarcastic and sour and terrible with our ruthless words and descriptions and expressions about what the F is that. Bad acting, bad story writing, unsuitable casting choices, and irresponsible actors who don't even want to take care of their, I mean, like, body shape management is a part of your job. If you don't stand in front of a camera, you don't need to worry about that, but it's part of your job. You're selling that, so you better take care of it. But there, you see how many actors these days, particularly, okay, for girls, somehow everybody works like super hard to get abs. But for guys in Chinese drama, and holy moly, their beer bellies are hanging around and they're playing this good-looking guy. I'm like, what the yeah. So in private, when I talk about these things, like with my friends on WeChat, oh my god, it's like, I'll turn it full on, like, just step on the gas and go crazy about my ranting. I was like, what the shit is that? Like, how are they able to do that? How thick is their face? How thick is their face to be able to do that and feel it's okay? And to get the money they get from those projects, don't even bother to go to gyms. There are a couple of actors out there, I'm not going to point out the names for obvious reasons, but if you watch a lot of Chinese dramas, you know who I'm mentioning. And I'm like, okay, like, I have the right to body shame you because you get money from doing this particular job that requires you to have qualified physical appearance. Like, if you're not doing that, if you don't earn your living on that, then fine. Like, oh. Isn't that like just like a very simple logic? Is you offer something and people pay for it, then you have to offer qualified stuff. But these days, like, you have to be so like stepping on eggshells about saying that. I mean, not so much in China, not so much, but we're getting it too. In the West, on Twitter, holy moly, try that, you're dead. Yeah. And I also don't buy into that, like, no matter what you look like, you're beautiful. Because beautiful is heavily influenced by a specific culture and time you're living in. So what is beautiful now is not beautiful 500 years later, probably, and it's not what was beautiful 200 years ago. If you have a specific, like, everybody has a specific existence, you can't run away from that. You have a physical body that's in this time. So when you are living in your immediate surroundings, there is a standard of what is beauty and what is not. And it, like, even if nobody say about it, it's still there. So unless you are a meta being who can jump out of time, location, culture, all that restraint, then you can say, you know, everything is beautiful because you're right. But then, as a specific person living at a specific time and location, you are not. You're not. In your existence, there will be something that is beautiful and something that is ugly. Something is more beautiful than the other, and something is less beautiful than the other. And even if nobody is saying it out loud, everybody knows about it in their heart. And so I think, like, just have the blanket statement of everything is pretty, and whatever body shape you have, whatever face you have, you're pretty, is just like, it's meaningless. And I hate to see people encourage others with that empty words, because it's empty practice, and it's not respecting what is reality going on. It's not going to change the fact that if somebody is just really fat, they go out and they get laughed at. And even if people don't show it, right? What they, like, certain things will eventually show them, like they get discriminated against, or they get bullied, or whatever. So I think it's just unhealthy in a way to ignore that, what is going on. And I think what you should tell people is what other opinion about you, right, shouldn't affect how you view yourself that much. I mean, you can take in certain people's things if it helps you. But then, right? At the end of the day, you decide if you give them power. So if you decide what they think about you is gonna define you, then you give up that power. So you have the right to say, I either give it or not. But it's the different thing from just blanket state. Everyone is perfect. It's not. Right? And there's always things you probably want to improve on yourself. You know, I want to be taller. I want to have stronger rooted hair, so it's not so stuck on my face all the time. I may want, you know, like a different... Honestly, if my eyes can go back to before 10, 12 years ago, wow, it's been a long time, I would, okay, without pain, okay, and without risk. If I can choose, I will immediately say, okay, I want my eyes to go back to before. Yeah, but we're going so far down. this streaming is getting to weird places. Let's bring it back to dramas, and we probably just talk a little bit more, 10-20 minutes, and then we should call it a day. Out of the Dream. Yeah, Out of Dream, I said I've watched a couple of episodes. I'm far away too, because they threw out the whole thing, and I'm like, oh wait, oh wait. 张新成童谣 rumored drama, really? I know 张新成 has something going on, but I don't think it's confirmed. Thought on Pearl Eclipse trailer, I said that at the beginning. Somebody needs to do something about that wig. Chen Weiting's wig is so bad. So bad. I think the stylist hates him. How can you make someone's hair that ugly? I cannot even bear looking at Chen Weiting in the trailer because of that terrible wig. Holy. Killer and healer. last year. I know, but I haven't seen that one. Yeah, I don't have time. I think everybody said that. I haven't seen even one person who said it looks good. When the trailer came out, everyone was like, what happened to that wig? Why? Why the wig? What did Chen Weiting do wrong? Like, why treat him like that? Global market for Chinese drama. Who knows? If the people in this, right, they're getting enough money from, like, there's little motivation for them to go global. I also wish they do better stuff, but need the soil to be healthy to grow good food out of it. Right now the soil is still quite pretty sad. And global market, right? And also what is going to be popular globally may not be what is popular domestically. And this is clearly, usually speaking, okay, things that have lower threshold of getting into or understanding, it has less obstacles for all kinds of culture and people to understand, gets easier to get out. If it's too heavily laden with cultural references and peculiarity of a culture, right? It's too heavy, then it's unlikely to get a big response globally. It has to find that perfect point where it's interesting enough, exotic enough, but then it is also universal enough. It needs somehow to just like, also lucky strikes is important. Timing, when something came out. Squid Game got that popular because it came out at the right year, I'd say. If it came out in 2019, it's not gonna get that successful as opposed to 2021. When the world is entirely much more effed up compared to 2 years ago, right? And also, like, if you see the implanted advertising somebody was talking about in dramas, did you realize pretty much from Crime Crackdown, from that point onwards to today, the C dramas that came out, they have much less ads about a product that just get like put in front of the camera and people talk about it and going overboard with the implant of a product. From the point of Crime Crackdown to now, it is significantly reduced. And I've heard what really happened was there's a higher up official with very high government positions was watching a drama and saw this blatantly just reading out advertising and product placement stuff of something and got super angry. And let this anger get known by relative, like, related department. Which is like, what the fuck is that? Is all television series are doing that now? This is ridiculous. And because of how high up this person is, we do not know who this person is. But because this person got super angry, immediately from that point onwards, all those ads got cut out. Or reduced to the point where you can't tell what it is. And it started around the time of Crime Crackdown. And that is why from that point onwards to now, you see a much less product placement in dramas. I was just like, this is so funny. It is such a good joke on so many levels. When you think about it. So for now, the products and those the brands, they're looking at other ways of doing it. Maybe just blatantly cutting an ad in an episode instead of actually place it in the plot, or doing it at the beginning, at the end, and doing it other ways, right? Instead of just jam it into the actual plot line. Yeah, this thing is so funny, right? Like and you can look at it. You can say it's a sad thing, but it's also a good thing, and like it's depending on your angle of looking at it. There's no definitive good or bad of this type of thing happening, but it's funny. It's so funny. It's the type of thing that you should put into a good comedy. 阴阳 Master movie. I didn't watch it. I'm not interested in Guo Jingming. He's so 矫情. Holy shit! Like over the top. I can't deal with it. And then he strips all the actors as much as he can when he can, which I don't understand and I don't appreciate. And like abs, and why naked upper body? Why? What's the? Because he wants to do that to Zhao Youting's role. He wants him to strip, and Zhao Youting was like, why? Like, when I take off my clothes, does it make me stronger? It's like, when I use my magic, right, and then not having clothes, does that make it like more effective? It's like, you can't convince me by undressing I get stronger. Like, then why would I strip? No, I don't. I won't. Okay, and then he refused. And I'm like, what? It's because Guo Jingming wants to look at it. What else can you explain? Like, what are the other reasons for you have to do it? Like, don't appreciate that at all for a director to do. And then, yeah, there were two kind of Yin Yang Master themed film at the end of the year. Guo Jingming, he's so lost of people. Well, his era has ended. I mean, for the future, I don't know what else he's gonna do, but interesting figure for sure, of the cultural production world from his novels, from his years of controversial career, and for his filmmaking and all that. Definitely a person worth looking at as some very unique case. Yeah, like if you really want to look at those films, look at the Japanese ones. That's where it came from. And even the Squid Game type of story, right? I still think the Japanese people are the master of that genre. They kind of just made it a masterpiece in art on their own, and then it's what they're good at. How you detect if dramas are dubbed or not? For most of Chinese actors, if they're not like, unless they're super new that I've never seen them acting, if they have been around for a while, I probably know what they sound like already. Like, so I can tell. Also, a couple, because there aren't that many dubbing actors going around, and I'm pretty familiar with most of their voices, the well-known ones. So I can tell, like when the voice comes, that's that voice that has dubbed that actor in that drama, and then you just look at it and the credits, you'll find it. A couple of voices, I don't even need to look at any of those things. I just like one word. Okay, it's him. Ma Zhengyang, Bian Jiang, Ji Guanling, Qiao Shiyu, Zhang Jie, Su Shangqin. These couple of people, the dubbing actors and actresses, 秋秋. Yeah, I don't need anything. Like I hear them open their mouth. I'm like, you again. Hi. So there aren't that many people dubbing television series. Oh, 宝木, the dubbing actor 宝木, who dubbed Yu Wang, Prince Yu from Neverending Fire. He shows up playing the middle-aged characters mostly. Ma Zhengyang is totally because I like Xiao Pingjing so much that I watched Neverending Fire 2 so many times that I had his voice imprinted in my brain. So no matter how he tries to morph it and change it and dubbing other guys, the moment he opens his mouth, I'm like, Ma Zhengyang, I see you again. the chubby dubber who is like the cutest ball out there. Ma Zhengyang probably has the furthest distance between what he looks like and his voice. When you look at his face, you'll imagine this soft, gentle, warm voice coming out of that chubby cheeks, and then he opens his mouth. It's like, wow. Cannot be more different. The dubber who dubbed Xiao Pingjing in Neverending Fire 2. Yeah. And the lead in Fu Yao, and he dubbed so many people. Anyway, he also dubbed a character in Liu Li, Love and Redemption. He also dubbed I can't like there are too many. Yeah, there is a love plot in Neverending Fire 2, but they only hugged. That's the maximum they went to. Hugging. If you're looking for more, it doesn't happen. Yeah, just Google Ma Zhengyang, right? Yes. Yuan. Who is that? Run. Nope. Oh my god, Neverending Fire is just solid. Okay. Yeah, number 2 is different. Neverending Fire 2 is created for television. Neverending Fire 1 is a web novel. When the author originally wrote it, she wasn't thinking about it's gonna get made into a drama, so it got adapted. It has changes happening to the story that is more suitable for a more serious vibe of a similar to real historical fictional story. But Neverending Fire 2 is built upon the success of Neverending Fire 1's drama, so the author got commissioned to write a story specifically for making a drama. From Daylight Entertainment's angle, because sort of what type of story they want to tell and how well it works with their entire sort of, let's say, aesthetics and stuff. So, NIF 2 is a different thing from NIF 1, really. And then the third one is also that they're working on is also from the same author, but then it also comes off the first 2. So I think it would also be a more specifically designed story for the purpose of make it as a drama instead of web novel. You can tell that there's some kind of different narrative sort of strategy behind the 1 and 2. 1 has more eyeball-catching design of plotline. It has almost that feeling of every time I finish a chapter, I want you to come back, therefore I have to leave a hook somewhere. And also, it has the original text of Neverending Fire 1 has a lot of more Jacksu and hinting on the male thing, but it's not a BL novel, really. It doesn't go far. It just vibes a little bit towards that, and then whereas once it got adapted, it kind of totally took out that thing. But you still see the plot linking kind of style of a very personal angle starting story of personal revenge. and plans and how you get each step, right? Calculate that to the end of your goal. And then almost like in Running Fire 2, in a way, is it starts like already with a rather impersonal view. It has characters that you start the story with, but it almost always kind of takes a more broader perspective on the bigger things instead of revenge and personal history and stuff. So it kind of really shows it's created for different purposes. I just hope the third one can be also a good story. I don't care it's gonna be whether it's 100% related to the first two characters. It could totally be a like a story that happens years before. It could be years later. It could be in a different country, because the first two are all set in this fictional nation, and they can move it to the enemy's angle, right? Totally just kick it to the other side, and from the other end, looking at this country and what they've done and all that. That could be interesting too. I don't know what they're gonna do for the third one, but I trust Hai Yan is able to write a good story. Vibe between who? Jing Wang and Mei Changsu? Have you read the original novel? It's so like suggesting. They're cousins, but they're there are a couple of plot points they totally took out from the drama version that's in the book. That is just so like, and it's like these two, a very small act of care and intimacy that happens right in front of two other officials. They're sitting there and they're discussing some big plans, and then something happens, and in the plot, right, between Mei Changsu and Jing Wang, and the other officials are the other two, like you can feel in the scene set up in the book. They're just sitting there and it's like, what are we looking at? Should we go? I think it's just not really that suitable for us to stay here any longer, but we can't go away, because if we go away, it kind of is obvious. Oh, this is awkward. The air started to freeze. There's one scene like that in the book, which is quite interesting. Not in the drama. They totally removed that. They totally removed that. So you should read the novel. It's slightly different. Mei Changsu. Okay, so we're close to the end of this stream because I don't want to run it to midday. It's already very late in Asia, like really late. And then, let's see, what else? This year, I would try to still make the calendar this year. I still haven't started it. It's so much work. And then maybe I'll make it free. Because I at the end of this stream, right, just say a big thank you. Because I have like, I constantly have people joining on the Ko-Fi end and just send me a coffee, which I highly appreciate. Some of you have it on recurrence, which, yeah, thank you very much. And then some people send it through my website, and obviously also people buy stuff from my shop. So I kind of want to make something for everyone for free, but I will try to put it out before the end of the year. It's actually a lot of time. You have to figure out the dates and then do all the numbers and then do the drawings. So this year, if I have time fast enough, I'll do it before the end of the year. And then for the calendar thing, it will be free to download as my gesture. Because I don't have a way to actually personally give everyone something who has donated to me. It's like rather impossible to do that unless people like give me their mailing address individually. I can't get to, so I probably will do it as a digital thing this year. Already decided the winner. Yeah, the giveaway thing. The giveaway thing came out 24 hours, and I contacted the person contacted me. So I've already done that. I definitely will do more in the future. You know, like depending on what festivals and what's the time for it. Next year, I think Chinese Spring Festival is February the first next year. So I definitely will do something around that time. Maybe it's discount, maybe it's other things. We'll see. Year of Tiger. Anyone a fan of the animal? It's a good animal. Okay, it sounds very grand, tiger. And I don't think anyone would hate tigers. Unless they are animals that's living in the forest and at the risk of being eaten. Tigers are cool. So pretty. Big cat. Didn't win. Yeah, it's I put it out on a community post on Sunday. Joy of Life. They haven't even started shooting it. I'm just wondering when. Come on. So that's not gonna come out until next year. Joy of Life. Even in 2023, who knows if it's gonna last that long. The one on the head. Yes. Tiger has a king in Chinese written on its forehead. Tiger. I like cats. What can I say? Year of the Horse. It's all cool. All the zodiacs. Right? There's only one that is mythological, which is dragon. Everything else has a real animal in it. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll end this stream now. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for everyone who's given me a super chat. And then again, thank you for everyone who's donated and Ko-fi. Got stuff from my shop. Time flies. We're already in November 2021. It feels like the January is like yesterday. Again, I just want to say, time has become faster in recent years. It just gets faster every year. I think most of you would agree. Somehow, universe is weird. Let's just all do our best to stay healthy and stay as long as possible on this planet. Because I'm pretty sure we have a lot of dramas to see everywhere. Not just in Dramaland, in real life too. We live in once in 10,000 times kind of time on planet Earth. At least the later comers of humanity will agree on that. I'm pretty confident about that. Take care. I'll see you should be in Saturday's video. Weekly video. Okay. Bye.